Let's go ahead and do a quick summary of all the economic theories that we've talked about so far. Remember that the main dividing line between all of these theories is exactly the time differentiation. Do we have a short run? Are there some type of short run impacts, or do we transition to the long run immediately? So with the classical economists, they believe that increases in the money supply are going to lead to inflation, and this happens immediately. Remember, there is no short run impacts or short run at all within classical economists. So they believe that monetary policy and fiscal policies are very, very ineffective. If you follow this train of thought of economics, you believe that the federal government and the Federal Reserve, they're both terrible organizations and they really shouldn't be intervening in within the markets at all because the economy is self-adjusting. We don't need the help of these government organizations at all because everything within the economy is going to go back to normal very, very quickly. So here, this is exactly what the classical economists are going to go ahead and believe in. Keynesians believe that in the short run, fiscal policy is the most effective path for getting us out of the recession, while monetary policy is very ineffective. Remember that with Keynesians, they say that if we have fiscal policy, expansionary fiscal policy through changes in taxes, government spending, or transfer payments, that is the best thing for us to do in order to stimulate the economy and smooth out our business cycle. Monetarists believe that in the short run, however, monetary policy is very effective. So they believe that we should have expansionary monetary policy during times of economic downturn due to all the usual monetary mechanisms that we've taken a look at. They believe that fiscal policy is very ineffective due to the crowding out effect and increased taxation. So with all of this, we do notice that are very, very big differences in the short run compared to the long run. So in the short run, we notice that, hey, the classical theory, monetary policy and fiscal policy, very, very ineffective. The economy always self-adjusts. The Keynesian theory, in times of deep recession, fiscal policy is good, monetary policy is bad. And just the opposite with the monetarist theory. Fiscal policy is bad, monetary policy is good. So there are very, very big differences in the short run. However, as we take a look at the long run, you're going to notice that, hey, everything is pretty similar to one another. We notice that the economy adjusts to long-run equilibrium with increased prices, with higher prices, essentially with inflation. The economy adjusts to long-run equilibrium with higher prices. And the same idea happens on the classical side as well. So in the long run, we notice that once we hit our long-run equilibrium with full employment or our potential GDP, basically everything just is going to adjust back to long run very, very quickly. And there's not going to be any real impacts of fiscal policy or monetary policy. So this leads to a pretty big discussion on which one of these economic theories should you guys be following. And as I've said before, there's really no right or wrong economic theory. There is just going to be it's basically going to be what you grew up with and what you understand about each of these theories is the one that you're probably going to go ahead and follow. The end goals are pretty much the same, but all the mechanisms and channels is exactly where all of these are going to be differing from one another. And these are only three of the main models within economics that we go ahead and take a look at. There's a plethora more of models that can be laid out and things that you can follow as well. There's an Austrian model, there's an Austrian-Hungarian model, there's a neoclassical model. Those are all things that you can go ahead and take a closer look at in your upper level economics classes. And we can also sort of just take a look at a close political tie between all of these theories as well. So in terms of the Keynesian theory, they believe that fiscal policy is the most effective. And what political party believes that we should have increases in spending in order for us to stimulate the economy? That's going to be with the Democrats in Congress. So if you believe in the Keynesian theory, you tend to align yourself with the sort of Democratic political party in the United States. For the monetarists, if you believe that monetary policy is best, you follow along the lines of the Republican Party just a little bit more. And in terms of the classical theory, what political party believes that, hey, we don't need any government intervention at all, big government is very, very bad for us? That's going to be a more extreme version of the Republican Party, and that's where we take a look at the Tea Party or the Libertarian Party, where they believe that government intervention and government itself is very, very sort of ineffective in all these means. So we see a little bit of a loose political connection between the economic theories right here and the political parties that we have in Congress today. So once again, the politics and economics tie really, really well with one another, even though they really shouldn't at a lot of times, but just something to keep in the back of your mind as you pursue higher level sort of politics classes and also higher level economics classes as well. We're going to go ahead and turn our attention to basically modern monetary policy. So basically do away with all of these theories right here and just take a general look at monetary policy using our economic analysis of aggregate demand, short-run aggregate supply, and long-run aggregate supply, and see exactly what that means for our economy. Just the same thing that we did on the fiscal policy side. So go ahead and see you guys in that video.